All right, so we're talking about weighted averages. And do you guys know what the weights are for this class? Do you guys know what the percentage weights for each type of work? Jack, do you know what they are?
Isn't it like 5% for homework?
Okay, and they just changed it. So this year they just changed it again. I know it's tough, but it's 10% for your homework.
What?
Oh my, it's shock. 10 percentage points off. Yeah, and I'll clarify that thought, Jack, because yeah, right. You don't have to do a lick of homework, and you can still get a 90, which is still an A. But you would have to do perfectly on all quizzes and tests. That's not happening, especially if you don't do your homework. So that's the thought process behind that. But anyway, do you guys know what quizzes are worth? 30%. And then go ahead and write these down, as you're going to need these. And then the tests are worth the remaining 60%. Do you guys notice what 10 plus 30 plus 60 equal? 100. So this is your full grade. There's nothing extra. Like there's not like, oh yeah, and then this. No, it's only these categories. And it's different in your other classes, but basically this is daily work, minor assessments, major assessments, and your teachers can call them different things, but these are the weights. And it was different last year. Okay, so I have a question. What would someone's grade be if they had certain percentages on these categories? Well, what I did is I made up a student. And we'll make up the student right now. Oh. Actually, you know what? Someone came up with a name very quickly, and I was... No, but I'll show you right now. So we're talking about weighted averages. No, it was surprising who came up with it and so quickly. Okay, we're talking about... who was it? Oh, yeah. It was Susan C. Susan C. He said Susan C. I'm like, oh. Any reason why you picked Susan C? No. And I thought, I'll give you a hint at the end of how I think this ties into that person, but I'll tell you at the end so as to not distract you. Okay, but Susan C., on her homework, she gets a 77%. Okay, that's her average of the homework, 77%. Her average on the quizzes is going to be 92%. So on her quizzes, she's getting a 92% average. And then on her tests, she's getting a 90% average. So what we did is we took some estimates. What do you think her grade would be? What's your estimate? I'll take maybe 3 or 4. Okay, I'll take you 3 right there. Okay, so, sorry, Carson, go. 89.9999. Can I do 89.9? All right, 89.9%. That's one guess of her overall grade. Jack?
I'll say 90%.
Oh, you went prices right on him? 90%. Sorry, Jackson?
90.1.
Oh, did you guys ever see Price is Right? Do you know how it works? So you can guess, you can't guess over the number, right? You can only guess the number from below. So like what people do is someone says 90, the next person will say 91. So basically they took away any chance that this guy had of winning, which is, I don't know why they don't change that, but that's mean. Anyway, you guys are all mean because of how you did that. One last one. Did you have one, Jenna? I'll take another one.
I was just going to say 85.
Okay, 85. And then Brian. 87. All right, good. We have some good representations here. So if you didn't guess, align yourself with one of these. Pick one of these. Like in your head, you can say, I think it's one of those. Okay? We're going to find it out right now. All right, so you look at the data, and then we're going to find out how to actually work these out. All right, weighted averages is just like finding the average, except you have to add the weights to it. So do you guys understand this concept here? That one homework assignment and one quiz, which one's heavier?
The homework.
One quiz is much heavier than a homework assignment. What about between a quiz and a test? Test is heavier. So when we say weighted, we actually mean weighted, like it has more significance or more number associated to it. So here's how you work it out. What you're going to do is you're going to get a sum. You're going to take Susan's grade for the homework, and you're going to multiply it by the percent that it's worth. It's worth 10% of her grade. So 77 times 10. And then you're going to add to that her grade on the quizzes and times her weight of the quizzes, which is 30. So 92 times 30. And then you're going to get her grade on the test and multiply it by the weight of the test, which is 60. So that's going to be your numerator. And then in your denominator, it's always going to be, so this is going to help you out, it's always going to be the sum of these numbers in parentheses. So what's 10 plus 30 plus 60? 100. That's the number of numbers. So that's what I mean by average. All right, go ahead and work that out. And don't feel too bad. It's not that hard, I hope. It shouldn't be that bad. So the first one should be 770, I hope, right?
Yes.
77 times 10. And when someone gets it, just tell me, what's 92 times 30? And I'll give just a few moments, and I'll let Carson give it to me in just a moment. So what in the world is... All right, Carson, what'd you get? 2,760. That sounds good. Anyone think differently on the second number? All right, the third number, 90 times 60. So I'll give you just a few seconds, and Jenna will give me that answer in just a moment. You have a pencil. There. Go ahead. Did you work them out already?
Yeah.
So what's 60 times 90 after Jenna gives me the answer? Confirm it or disprove it. Go ahead, Jenna. 5,400. Yep. 5,400. What do you think, Harrison? How in the world should you do that? That's a big number. Do you have the sum for these three? You're very, very close. Very, very close. 8,900. Anybody?
30.
Yes. I was looking at it. I think I gave different numbers in the last class, but anyway, 8,930. Okay. And then that's over the 100. So what do you get for your percentage here? 89.3%. All right, so let's see who's the winner of The Price is Right. So, see, whoever said this went over. So technically, Price is Right, you lose. See how mean that is? So who would be the closest one that's below that estimate? So who said 89.9? I think you're the winner. But Drew Carey says, who said 87? Brian's the winner. Drew Carey's the host of The Price is Right. So, Carson, I'll give you some credit. Brian, I'll give you some credit as well. So how many of you thought, honestly, don't say, yeah, I got it, but if you really did, you thought one of these numbers, even if you didn't say, I just have a big problem with this. How in the world can it be that number? Because look at their homework grade, 77%. That's like 12 percentage points away. And then, yeah, their quizzes is 92. And then their test 90. Don't get it. So I'm going to ask somebody to be critical about this number. Lily Mooney. So how in the world is 89.3 representative of those three grades? Because that doesn't make sense.
Because all the grades are worth something different. Like homework's only worth 10%, quizzes are worth 30%, and tests are worth 60%. So it wouldn't really make sense if the homework weighed all that down like they really were.
Okay, so here's a good point. If you're looking at this, didn't they get A's on their major and minor assessments? But guess what their overall grade is? It's a B+. You know why it was? Because does the homework have effect on your grade? Yes. Does it have a tremendous effect? No, but it does affect. And if you were shooting for that A, this is what pulled you down a little bit. And by the way, if you had 89.5 or above, it would have rounded to 90. So you're very close to rounding, but it didn't actually round to 90. Now, yes, sir?
Why can't the homework be moved back to 5%?
It wasn't my decision. It's a school-wide decision for the middle school. But I do agree with it, and I'll tell you why. It used to be 5%, 35, and 60. I think that's what it was. Yeah. The reason is because the homework is worth so much. Out of your 30 assignments that you had last quarter, 24 of them were homework assignments, and 6 of them, or 3 and 3, were quizzes and tests. So I'm making you do all this work, and it's not even worth that much.
Yeah.
And on to Jack's point, if you didn't do any of the homework, you could still get a 95%. Although, if this grade is low, it does affect these grades. So let me give you a little hint. You're like, Mr. A, you just taught me something. I don't have to do homework anymore. I just got to study for my quizzes and tests. How do you study for your quizzes and tests? By doing homework. So let me give you a little lesson about what these grades mean, because some of you are wondering and some of you are worried. Either way, I need you to try hard on the homework because that helps you on these. Don't feel bad if this is a low number, though. In fact, I like seeing a low homework grade, higher quiz grade, and then the highest test grade out of the 3. So this one's pretty good, but I would hope to see 77, 92, and like 93 and above on this part. Now, some of you say, but Mr. A, sometimes you just mess up on a test, don't you? Have you ever had a bad test in any class? You're like, oh man, I just bombed that. But you know what's nice about this? It's not, this test grade is not one test. It is many tests. And in my class, you're going to have at least 3 tests and at least 3 quizzes. So if you bomb one test, man, and let's say this person, they got a 60% on the test. That hurts. But if they can really pull it up with their other tests, maybe they get like a 93, a 95, that will pull up their grade tremendously. So don't feel like it's only one grade. So on today's quiz that you'll get back, some of you did great. Some of you did well. And some of you did maybe not so good, according to you. But don't feel bad that that's going to affect your grade the whole quarter. Don't feel afraid that that's going to throw your whole grade off. It's not, because you got to do well in the other quizzes and the other tests. Because maybe you got 100%, and you're like, nice, 100%, nailed it. And then the quiz, you're like, I already got 100 on the quiz, and then you get an 80 on the test. You better kiss that 100% goodbye, because it's not going to have that great effect as that test. Don't get cocky, and don't get worried, is what I'm trying to balance you out with. Okay, hold on with those questions. I was just going to say something until I saw all these hands go up. But I would say this. Listen, I've tried to make this a clear point, Carrick, and you need to face the front. And Jenna, if you can face the front. Carrick, yeah, just make sure you're totally in line with that desk. That just helps you not to do this. Hi, how are you doing? You're just like focused up on the front. So on your grades, some of you should be getting 100%. Okay, that is your standard. You need to get that or above. Some of you need to be getting 90%. Some of you, and I don't even know the magic number for all of you. But just because one person does better than the other percentage-wise doesn't mean they did better than you. So let me give you a little hint. All right, I think 89.3% is good. It's a very solid grade. And I'll give you another. I'm going to give you one more to figure out. If this next student got an 89.3, you ask, is it good or bad? And I say, I don't know. Who is that person? Because if this person is capable of getting higher and they didn't, they need to do better. And then I got this question on the last class. Mr. A, can someone get 100% and still not do their best? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You skipped steps. You were sloppy with your work. You got proud. That's not your best. So I'm not your judge because I don't see all that in your heart. But who is your judge? And it's the Lord himself. So when it says work as unto the Lord, yeah, you might get a good grade on the report card, but the Lord knows you could have gotten better. Okay? And this applies to me too because I'm still in school now. I'm taking classes, and I'm thinking, I got this grade. That's good. But it wasn't my best. Uh-oh. So I need to work my best every day on my homework, even if I have the grade I want, whatever that grade is. We're going to work out another problem just a moment, but Claire, question.
So are you talking about with the 3 tests and the 3 quizzes, that like per semester, like per quarter?
This is in one quarter. Yes, per quarter. I try to aim for that, but second quarter is the shortest one. I'm going to try to get 2 and 3. 2 and 3 of those. Because we don't have that many weeks. But maybe I'll fit it in. Lord willing. All right, here's the next person. And this is actually somebody that I teach at this school.
Karen.
No, I'm not going to say who it is. Well, no, I am going to say who it is. Okay, ready? I'm going to give the percentages first, and then you guys can figure out who it is. So we're going to go. Wow. Quizzes and tests. Okay, I am going to name this student by an alias. Yeah. Oh, do you guys know alias is like what they're also known as? Or they could also be known. No, I'm not going to say who, like, I'm not going to tell you. We're going to call him as A. Yeah, I'm not telling you who it is. It is a student, but I'm not telling you who. Sorry.
Wait,
Ezekiel.
It's
I'm done talking.
Oh, easy.
Okay, sorry. I had to find my info. Ready?
Oh, it's easy, so that's...
81% on the homework. 81% on the homework. And I'm not telling you where I pulled this out of, but it is from the school. 81% on the homework. 84% on the tests. And 93 on the tests.
That's weird.
It's weird, huh?
Who does that?
Who does that? Somebody. Wow. Any other guesses? It doesn't matter because I'm not telling you. I didn't even write it down on my paper, but it is something. I pulled it out the grade book from last quarter. So you can have fun figuring out, but I can't tell you. So anyway, find out the overall average of this student's grade. Overall average. Using the weights on the board, on the whiteboard. Overall average. Blank percent. This is alias, Ezra. Alcocer, yeah. This is an alias.
It's your son?
Or is it?
Son gets those grades, yeah.
Or is it? Yeah, just figure this student out. Again, I'm not telling you exactly who it is. I picked an alias, but it is a student. No, I don't think it's bad at all. I'm not sharing it. Sorry.
Quiz. When you get better test grades, quizzes grades like that.
It happens. Someone did it. And that's the cool, like, I'll tell you the trends I see, the trends I want to see, and the trends I'm afraid of. You're like, afraid of? I am afraid of some trends. Those things are dying off like Pog's word. Do you guys know what a Pog is? That's because it died so badly. It's part of history now. That's what fidget spinners are. They're Pogs. Yep. If you don't know what a Pog is, it doesn't matter.
It's like a pug and a dog.
No.
A
It's
pug
like-
is a dog.
Oh, a dog.
Thank you, Carrie, but that's okay.
It's like every human. Like every human.
All right. You guys get your percentage.
Me. It's so like bad.
Carrick's really not liking these grades. What's wrong with him?
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, it makes sense.
It's really taking him on that they got better on the test.
Okay. Who did 81 times 10 and got an answer that they're confident with? Jackson? 810. That's the first number. 810. Hopefully that's not too bad. And who did the 30 times the 84 and is confident on their answer? So they're not wondering. Claire, what'd you get?
2,520.
Okay, 2,520. That sounds good. 2,520. Okay, we good on those so far? And then what is the test of, what's their test 60 times 93? And they're confident. Like, I think I got this. Anybody? Claire's the only one who's confident. Not yet, not yet. Sorry, we're getting to that. Anybody confident? Yes, Maggie. 5,580. All right. Anyone have a dispute with any of these numbers?
Nope. Yes, a bitch.
What's the sum of all three of these? Oh, put that away, please, or it's mine. I will put it in my collection of historical relics. Yep. 8,910. Do you guys get that? Okay, so what's your percentage? 0.1%.
Oh, smart. That's horrible.
Do you remember Susan?
Yes.
And do you remember Ez?
Who is it?
Aren't they pretty much the same grade?
No, not really.
No, I mean, what was the overall average? Was it 89.3, I think, right? For Susan, and he's 89.1. Were these numbers all the same?
No.
No, they were different. But you got the same result. Someone explain this grade to me using those numbers. I need an explanation because I think Susan was 77, 92, and 90. That's not even close. Like, not close. Wow. Okay. Keep guessing. Anyone want to explain it? Lily, G. How in the world? 89. What?
So the homework's 10%, the quizzes is 30%, and the test is 60%. So once you combine all of them to get your average, the homework, even though Susan C had a lower homework grade, as A had a higher test. So, but, oh wait, hold on a minute.
Well, keep going. You're there.
Because
She had a lower,
the
he had a higher.
homework
That.
is going to not like affect him as bad, but his quizzes are going to affect him more. And Susan C's quizzes was a 92, his are an 84 for her.
So that's almost a 10. That's an 8% difference.
Yeah, so his quizzes affect him more than his homework and test.
Okay, and listen, for Susan and Ez, these quizzes, tests, and homework, they affect the same way, as in they have the same weight. But depending on how he did on these, or she did on those, that will affect their overall grade. And in fact, they're very close, 0.2% off. On the report card, they're both going to say 89%. 89%. All right, let me tell you a trend, Emery, that I am afraid of. I don't mind this trend. Low, higher, highest. That's a good trend. When I see that, I'm like, yes. You mess up, you fail, you struggle, you ask questions. You do a little bit better. And some of you do a lot better, which is good, but maybe a little bit better. You struggle, you fail, you know what you failed at, and then you recover. And then look at that, a big increase in the test grade. Which one had the highest weight? Always the test. Thankfully for this person, because if not, those quizzes would have weighted them down a lot. What would you recommend to this student to help them out to do better second quarter? There's something you can do to help them out based on that process. Work hard, fail, struggle, improve. Work hard, fail, struggle, improve. And then that's where you end that part. Claire?
A question. Why do you do it over here?
Because you had to add the 10 plus the 30 plus the 60. And then that's 100. You divide by the number of numbers. These are the number of numbers in weighted averages, which is different. Okay, yes, Jack?
Excuse me. Well, the way you can improve is saying that quizzes are tests.
Yeah, take the quizzes more seriously. He's capable of getting the material, isn't he? But I don't think he's applying it on the quizzes. Maybe taking them a little bit for granted. If he would have probably moved this up 1 or 2 percentage points, that would have gone to that 90. He probably would have been a little bit happier because you're right on the border of A and B, and unfortunately you stayed on the B side for this guy. Now, I'm proud of this student. I think they can do better, but I am proud of him up to this point. Second quarter, I want that to be higher, whoever it is. We're calling him Ez. But you know what? I wouldn't be proud of this student if this were Einstein. I'd be very disappointed in him. Because I know Einstein's capable of doing better than that, right? Do you understand? He should have a high capability. He should get higher than that. But if it's this person, alias as A, then he can do a little bit better. But overall, he's doing very well. Do I look at your grades and determine how well you're doing by your grade? No, I do not. I determine you and your own grades, comparing yourself and how you're improving or not improving. So that's how I view your grades. Okay, anyway, let's look at the lesson now. We're done with the weighted averages. We're going to look at example number 1. We'll just start on it because we won't get a lot into it. Example number 1. So we're looking at a mixture problem, things that are mixed up together. Can someone read for me example 1 on page 233? Yes, that is friends. You know, it's interesting. I've had this problem now, and that's for 4 classes, whenever a guy sees it, he says, "Oh, that's Ross." And whenever a girl sees it, "Oh, that's Rachel." First thing they say. Interesting. Okay. Oh, it should be? Okay, all right. I just wanted to make a recommendation. All right. Abby, can you read for me example 1?
Suppose the Central Perk coffee shop sells a cup of espresso for $2 and a cup of cappuccino for $2.50. On Friday, Rachel sold 30 more cups of cappuccino than espresso, and she sold $178.50 worth of espresso and cappuccino. How many cups of each were sold?
Okay, what am I trying to find out in this problem? I'm trying to find out 2 things. What are those 2 things? Yep. Of what? Espresso and cappuccino. All right, on these problems, I want to, and at the end of it, I want to know how many cups of cappuccino I'm going to abbreviate, and espresso I'm going to abbreviate. I want to know how many cups of each. They don't tell me directly either one of them, but they do tell me indirectly some info on it. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a little chart here. It's not too intense, I hope. You'll see that the numbers are pretty intuitive, although we're going to practice this to make sure we get it. Okay, I have and I'll just start with espresso up top and the cappuccino down low. We're going to label this column the number of cups. So really this is where our answer is going to go. And then here's the price per cup. So they gave us my price per cup. And here the total amount, like the total amount of money. How much does it cost altogether? Because you need that info too. Did they give me the number of espresso cups or cappuccino cups? Did they give me either one? They gave me neither. But they did tell me something about the number of espresso and cappuccino cups. It's in that problem. Do you see anything about the number of either? On Friday, Rachel sold 30 more cups of cappuccino than espresso. So which one did she sell more of from that sentence? Cappuccino or espresso? So I heard both. It's got to be one.
Cappuccino.
Yeah, it says she sold 30 more cups of cappuccino than espresso. Okay, so we're going to have to pick a variable, and this variable is going to guide this whole sheet, this whole table. I'm going to pick espresso because it's like the most basic of these problems. And you know what? You remember on that, well, I don't know if you noticed, on that quiz that you just took, my E looked like a C. I was very self-conscious after that. I felt very bad. I was like, man, I threw him off. And now every time I write an E, I have to make it deliberate. So like E. Look at that. That's a nasty looking E, but I try to make it clear. And that's a C. You guys get it? E and C? Are we good on that? Okay. What do I know about the number of cappuccino cups in comparison to the number of espresso cups? So how do I know what the difference is or whatever? They said something about it. Cappuccino cups compared to the espresso cups. 30 more, right? Ready? The number of espresso cups plus 30 should give me the number of cappuccino cups. Isn't that true? So if I know how many espresso cups there are, I just add 30, and that'll give me the number of cappuccino cups. What was the price per cup of espresso? $2. What was our cost per cup of cappuccino? Yeah, that's not what it is now. Okay, so I have all that info. Once I have these 2 columns filled, this is an easy problem. Ready? All I have to do to get the total for the espresso cups is do E times $2, which is also known as 2. Oh, see? Very Can't do that. 2e. Okay, 2 times e. That's all I did. I did e times 2 is 2e. Now this one you got to be a little bit more careful of. It's going to be 2.5, not times e plus 30, just like that, but it's times the quantity e plus 30. Oh, man. Didn't even erase it. Look, that's an E. All right, do you guys see how I got this last column? I multiplied these two quantities, and I multiplied these two quantities, and I just left it like that, okay? Does this say anything about the overall total of everything? Does it say anything about the total of everything?
Yes, it does.
What does it say?
178.
Yeah. All of it, all together, she sold $178.50. So ready? Here's how I'm going to apply what I have in this chart. And this is where I'm going to be able to solve it. All right, I have this. Okay. I'm going to take the total, 2E, of the espresso, and I'm going to add to it the total of the cappuccino. And I know that the total price of all of it added together should give me $178.5 or $178.50. All right, so I have here an equation with what variable? E. And what does E stand for? The number of cups of espresso. So I'm just going to work this one out. Okay, and it's a little bit tougher with decimals, but not impossible. So 2E. 2E plus 2.5 E plus 75. So 2.5 times 30 is 75 equals 178.5. Okay, all right, this is a review of equations. Are both sides simplified? No. So how do I do that? Combine those and what I get? 4.5E plus 75 equals 178.5. By the way, you're not going to do a lot of these problems. It's not I'm going to give you 15 of these problems. No, I'll give you a few, but you got to know the process here. So these two added up together give me 4.5E. What do you do to both sides? Subtract 75 from both sides. All right, so I get 4.5E equals 103.5. Oh, Saved by the Bell. We'll figure this one out later on. But do you guys see, at least after the equation, how to get down to this point?